All right, we are off. Okay, hey, so turn our attention to the sideboard real quick. Okay, so Thursday, algebra 1B, the second row. SWB, does anyone remember what that stands for?
Students will be able.
Students will be able to. Okay, the T is silent. Students will be able to. Okay, solve linear equations. Okay, so we're gonna solve linear equations. We're working on it. Once again, I call it chapter 0. Just because it's a review and refresh chapter. Really from last year's algebra 1A material. Okay, so we're continuing with that. Last time we had left off, I believe we had done. Let's see. We had gone through here. Did we do all of these using subtraction as well? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Okay, let me get you another note packet. You need a pencil too?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So, these additional examples, okay, I want you guys, actually, on this first one, y plus 4 over 5 is equal to 2 over 3. We say solve. What's solving mean again? What's it mean to solve that equation? What's it mean to solve that first equation? Yeah, find out y equals, so we need to get y by.
What the heck? That door is open and closed.
Yeah, there's like a gust that comes through here.
Yeah,
Like,
fly.
yeah.
Oh God.
But we need to get y by itself. Okay, we need to get y by itself there. Now, we have two different things we really can start off here with trying to get y by itself. What's one thing that we can do? Subtract 4 over 5, right? Get that away. Now, and that's what might be a really good idea for us to do, okay? Another thing we can do if you prefer is we can clear the fractions. Does anyone know what that means to clear the fractions? Okay, ready? What that means? Or are you saying no? Okay. I know if I was like, I got it, or no. Okay, could have been either. Okay, could have been like no. Anyway, okay. So to clear the fraction would mean that you multiply both sides of the equation. Both sides of the equation by the least common denominator. Okay, least common denominator. So the lowest number that these would both have in common. Okay. So what's the lowest number that 5 and 3 can multiply to? 15. Okay. So that means you would multiply both sides by 15. Now you don't have to write this down yet. Let's look at this and see how it looks first. So we multiply both sides by 15. You can't just multiply one side, right? We have to do both. Okay. So if we're going to multiply this and we distribute, 15 times y is. 15y. Yeah, we don't know what y is, but we can just call it 15y for now. Okay. And what would 15 times 4 over 5 be? If we need to, we can write that off to the side. 15 times 4 over 5. What happened with this 15 to that 5?
It would. They add the chip. Or subtract.
Okay. What can we multiply? 20, 24.
With all sophomores with the last name, you, Bruce, Z, and any other sophomores that have not gotten their pictures taken, please report to the auditorium.
We can think of this as 15 over 1. Okay, I think that's 15 over 1. Okay, and we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across, don't we? So you can do 15 times 4 and 1 times 5. Now we can do something first though. What can we do first with 15 and 5 since they're diagonal each other? We can cross simplify. Okay, so cross simplify. And so what do we say? What can go into both 15 and 5? 5 can go into both of those, right? And so how many times does 5 go into 5?
4.
How many times does 5 go into 15? 3. So now this becomes 3 and 1. Okay, they can cross simplify. Okay. So now if we multiply straight across, 3 times 4 is 12. And 1 times 1 is 1. Now do we really have to write that it's over 1?
No.
No, we can just write that as 12. Okay? And then we can do the same thing over here, 2 over 3 times 15. We can call it 15 over 1 again. Now, we can multiply straight across, do 15 times 2, but could we do something first to make our life easier? Yeah. What can we do? Cross simplify, right? Okay. And so what would that 3 become?
1.
Oh, 1, right? Because how many times is 3? Because what goes into both 3 and 15? 3. And so 3 goes into 3 1 time. Okay. How many times does 3 go into 15?
5.
5. Okay. So now, do I write 5 right here, or what am I going to write?
Just 5.
Okay. What did we have to do with this 3 when we were done? We had to multiply, right? We got a 4. So what do we have to do with this 5?
5 to multiply it.
5 times 2, what's that going to be? 10. Do I have to write that as 10 over 1? No, I do not. Okay. Gracie, we're in our notes. Which is we're on the additional examples, kind of the third row down. Okay. We're talking about clearing fractions right now. We weren't writing this. We're just kind of looking at how this looks. Okay. But now we don't have any fractions, do we? No, we don't have any fractions. That might make it a life a little bit easier for us. So we did that to get rid of all these fractions. So now, what would we do to solve this equation? Subtract 12 from both sides, right? If I do that addition. 15y is 12 minus 12 is 0. 10 minus 12 is 2. What kind of 2? Negative. The signs are different. And which number is bigger? 12 is, so we take the negative. Okay? Now, how do we get y by itself? The subtract, divide. Why? What's happening with 15 and y? They're multiplying the undo multiplication with division. Divide by that number. 15 divided by itself is 1. So we have 1 times y, which is just y. Does 2 and 15, do those simplify at all? No, and we can leave that as a fraction, as negative 2 over 15 is our answer. Okay? Go ahead and start writing that down, writing that process back down, okay?
I just read the answer.
What is this?
I'm going to write the process so you
I
practice.
said it's not.
I wanted you guys just to watch them. See it.
What is this? I'm sorry, like, what are we going over?
Additional.
Just additional ways of solving linear equations. So we're reviewing and refreshing over that. And so we last time last one's on Friday. Okay, we went over solving by subtracting and adding. So this time we're subtracting, but I said, hey, could we clear that fraction first? And we're like, oh, what's that mean? Oh, let's talk about what it means to clear fractions. And to say clear fractions means you got rid of all of them. Think if you're clearing something off, I cleared my desk off. I'm getting everything off my desk. Okay, we're clearing fractions. We're getting rid of all the fractions.
I got the direction. Thank you. I'm following.
Right. Let me show you guys what it would look like otherwise, okay? And so we can kind of compare them. You guys don't have to write this part down. I'm not going to make you guys write this part down afterwards either, okay? So if we had started this off, we had done y plus 4 over 5 is equal to 2 over 3. Brady had said originally, hey, we can subtract 4 over 5 in order to get y by itself, right? We could do that, okay? 4 over 5 minus 4 over 5, that's 0. So we're just left with y is equal to 2/3 minus 4 over 5. Now, are we able to subtract these two fractions right away? No, why not?
The bottom, whatever is not the same.
The bottom's not the same. What do we call that bottom?
Denominator.
Denominator, okay? The denominators aren't the same. So what do we need to do? Get
3 times what and 5 times what is.
Yeah, we need to figure out our least common denominator. Okay, we need to figure out what these both can multiply to. And what would those multiply? What's the smallest number they can multiply to? We used it earlier? 15, okay? So, what would we multiply 3 by to get 15?
5.
5. So that means we also have to multiply the 2 by.
Please excuse the option with all juniors with the last name A through D. Please report to the auditorium for pictures.
what would we have to multiply the 5 by to get to 15? 3. So that means we have to multiply the 4 by 3. You do the top and the bottom by the same thing, okay? So that would be 12 over 5, okay? So now, or 12 over 15, excuse me. So now, can we subtract these?
Yes.
Yeah, so what's 10 minus 2? So it ends up being negative 2 over 15. What do we notice about this answer?
It's the same.
Here, it's the same answer, right? So either way you go about it, it's the same way, okay? So whatever one you prefer.
I like
This, you like this one? Okay. If you like this bottom one, if you're more comfortable with that, continue doing that. That's fine. Nothing wrong with it. If you like this top one more, I tend to like the top one a little bit more because I get rid of fractions, okay? But whatever you guys are comfortable with is what's important, okay? So if you're more comfortable with the red way, the bottom way of saying, let's subtract the fraction and get common denominators combined, go ahead. If you're more comfortable with, hey, let's get rid of those fractions right away and then keep solving, okay, that's fine. Okay, does that make sense? Some people just don't like working with fractions, so we just got rid of them and kind of put it back in at the end. Okay, but if you'd rather work with fraction, you can feel free to. Okay, questions on that? Thank you, and Liddy. Okay, hey, I want you guys to do. What was that? Yeah. Yas. Okay. Yas. Queen. Okay. I want you guys to try number 2 on your own. You guys try number 2 on your own.
I kind of forgot how to do something.
I can't do it, but I don't know how to do it. Look over and I'll help you out.
I know that they have like reduced to a fraction.
Yeah, you don't have to. But, so, what's happening here? What
Do
operation?
you subtract?
Okay, so we subtract. Okay, so let's start off with what we know. We may subtract 1 by this. Now, that number's smaller than 1, right?
Yeah, so it'd be negative.
Well, it ends up still being positive because this number's bigger.
But
I take the bigger number.
so like,
But to figure out what you do, how do you make the call that 1? You call it 1.000. You could subtract by like that. Then you can use borrow numbers. Okay, let's try that one.
I'm not feeling school today.
Feeling or failing?
Feeling. So, what's happening here right now? Yeah, what operation are we doing? I don't know. What's that mean?
What is it?
You know,
Plus.
that means plus. That means we're doing
Yeah.
subtraction or we're doing
We're doing addition.
addition. Okay, so that's what I mean by operation. Those are operations like addition, subtraction. Okay. So we're doing addition. How do we undo addition?
We subtract this one.
Yeah, so let's subtract that number. If you subtract it from one side, what do you have to do?
Subtract it from this side.
Yeah, so let's subtract it from both sides.
I only know one sport. It's called soccer.
You're gonna
Hey,
play soccer?
So what operation are we doing here?
Well, what I would do.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start subtracting. Because you know we need to subtract, so let's do that.
So I would do. I'll do minus.
Not subtracting from the x or the
So what's our end goal?
to get x by itself.
Okay, so what's with the x right now?
This.
Okay, so let's get rid of that. How can we get rid of it?
We just subtract this.
I believe this is the answer. If not, I'm probably.
Not quite, but you're on the right track, okay? So,
This is a
I'll go over with that. I'll go over this one before.
Okay.
So 0.
What's
I'll go over how to do it.
What's 0.356 minus 1?
It would be 1 minus 0.356, right?
Ooh.
So you got it written correctly. tell you that as you erased it.
So I would do it.
Yeah, he's like, what erase? I did. Yes, okay, so here's how we do this, guys, okay? You guys know we're doing subtraction, okay? You guys knew we needed to do subtraction. So even if you're stuck on other parts, you're like, Mr. Cost, I don't know how to subtract it, okay? You know we're doing subtraction, right? So we can go ahead and at least start that process, okay? So do what you can do, and then we'll get help from there, okay? So we know we need to subtract the 0.356 from both sides. We know we have to do that. Okay? When we know that 0.356 minus itself is going to be 0, right? So we're going to end up getting just x on this side of the equation, which is what we want. That's our goal. That's why we did that. Okay? We didn't just do it because it seemed fun. Okay? We did it because that our goal is to get x by itself. Now, our big question is how to subtract 1 and this 0.356, okay? What you have to do is you have to end up doing what, Gracie?
Adding training wheels. Zeros. I do zeros, right?
Okay, yeah. Is that what you called it before?
Yeah, in like 3rd grade, my teacher was like, yo, add your training wheels.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we can write it like that, okay? So because this is 3 numbers past the decimal, I'm gonna write 3 zeros past the decimal, okay? We'll keep adding zeros all day long, okay? Now, yeah.
Why did you put the 1 past the decimal?
The one in front of the decimal? Because it's one whole number first.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good question,
Oh.
okay?
that doesn't make
I
sense.
get it. It's like
Doesn't make more sense now or no?
after the decimal thing, it's like.
Yeah,
and then
so- So if I wrote it like this, Gracie, okay? Would that still be one whole number, one whole?
No.
No, it's 0.1. This is 1, right? So anytime you see a number here, you can think of it like there's a decimal there. So if I see like the number 5, it really could be, that was a really bad 5. If I see like the number 5, it really could be like 5.0, and it's the same number. Does that make more sense?
Yeah.
Does it actually?
No, because like there's the 2 there still.
That's number 2. It's not 2.1.
Oh my gosh.
That makes more sense what you got, what you got.
Last class. Wait, is the right answer 9.64?
Oh.
But I have a question. So basically, what we're doing is, so we have to take away the 1 or whatever and borrow it. And
Yeah, you
just
have to-
keep
oh,
on
wait,
borrowing
it's
the
0.6.
numbers.
You got point 0.6 what?
4.
That's right. Okay. So what we have to do, like Kate said, is we're gonna have to take this 1, change that to a 0, and we're gonna have to keep borrowing. So this 0 becomes a 10. But hey, wait, we need some over here, so this 10 becomes a 9. Okay, and this 0 becomes a 10. But wait, we have to keep borrowing, so this 10 becomes a 9. And this 0 becomes a 10. Okay? You have to keep borrowing? No. Okay, now we can subtract. What's 10 minus 6?
4.
What's 9 minus 5? What's 9 minus 3?
6.
What do we do with this decimal? Do we just
Point.
drop it?
No, keep
Nope.
it.
You keep it right where it is in line.
And add a
Okay?
0 just
And
in
what's
case.
0 minus 0? 0. So x ends up being 0.644. And hey, right? Which of these numbers was bigger, 1 or the negative 0.356?
1.
1. So we keep the positive symbol. We keep the symbol of the bigger numbers. Okay? So it ends up being that. Now, if we're more comfortable with this, could we write x on the left side? Yeah, we can. Does it actually change anything? Okay. Heck to the no. Very good. Okay. Questions on that one? Go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. Hey, actually, what I want you guys to do is I want us to try call an bit of an audible here. Okay. Audible means slight change. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to have us on the bottom left. Okay. So like there's some space below number 5, okay, right? There's a lot of space below number 5 there, okay, on the bottom of your page, okay? On the bottom, on the left, right about here, like right above, basically at the far left end of where that paragraph ends on 5, okay? I think everyone's seeing where I am, okay? Louise, okay? I want us to write this problem to solve, okay? x plus 0.462 equals 2, okay? When I go to write that, I want you guys to work on solving that one, okay? Is this very similar to the first one, the one we just did?
Yes.
Great. So number 2, it's almost like the same, so we should be able to do this one, right? Okay, let's work on this one, okay? Can you want to figure it out, please? Thank you. I know that's the most comfortable thing to put your phone.
I don't know why, but I feel like I can actually sleep at school, like on the floor, like my house takes forever for me to fall asleep, but then I can just sleep on the floor. That's weird. It's weird.
These are just really comfortable here. You like being here. So that means
No, not really.
yeah, this is your true. That's why I took the time.
Oh my gosh, my bad. I mean,
Once you have it or you need help, I want you to
Wait, wait, mine is
May I
that
get
right?
attention, please? Would all juniors whose last names begin E through K, please report to the auditorium at this time?
human error.
Oh, we keep practicing, right? We check your work. Here, you have it.
I think I got it.
I think you do too.
Wait, one more today.
We won't have like a separate like worksheet. I'll probably have us do some things like. Thanks.
You know, in like 3 weeks.
It is, right? I was looking at it
Yeah,
today.
she goes to college, still get home.
Yes. Oh, that's where your girlfriend goes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where she goes to school.
Okay, got it. The feet.
I agree. Work.
Dude, I don't get how to do the decimal thing.
Let's move practice. Okay. So. Okay, so rule of thumb, we'll learn this now, we'll keep it there for now, okay? When you don't know what's going on, you don't know how to do something, I want you to try your best to continue writing with this. And then that way you can go back and look at examples, so I can reference them for you when you get them, okay? So we did it there, yes, we did. We added decimals because it doesn't actually change what the number is if we keep adding 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 after the decimal, at all, okay? Doesn't change the number at all for that. Don't put in all this 2, or 2.0, or 2.00, or so on and so forth. So because we have, how many numbers past the decimal here? 3. We want 3 numbers past the decimal. We're not gonna put random numbers like we're not gonna put like 1, 2, 3, because that would actually change the value. But if we do 2.000, is that the same thing as 2? Like if you step on a scale,
Oh,
and it
yeah.
says 2.0 or 2, either way it's 2 pounds, right? Okay, so we can add in 3. So far, so get out your mouth.
20 wouldn't do that. That's my mom. If you wouldn't do that, so you can't do that.
Now we split this up. Okay, subtractions. Little line, right? Okay. Now, when we say, okay, can we do 0 minus 2?
No, I get how to do this part.
Okay. So what part did you not get?
Just like how you do all the other first stuff.
The setup,
Yeah.
the decimals. Does it make a little more sense now or no? Okay.
Can you pop your ovaries?
Ooh.
That's a ring on half of us. Yeah.
Can I bring the tissues to my desk?
Like just like everyone. Like, 'cause sometimes when I like look for them, I'll just kind of repeat the prompts.
So I can find my poppers.
Pop an ankle all the time while you just sit there.
I can.
too.
I felt my knee a lot.
I popped my knee for like the first time yesterday.
Was 1 minus 0.
It never happens.
Or one.
So it'd be 1.5. Hey, so once again here, we subtract this 0.462 from both sides. Get rid of it. So we have x by itself. Okay, ready to go for the way now, please. And so now, as we go through, hey, we can't subtract 0 by 2 very well, so we have to borrow. Can't borrow here, can't borrow here. We've got to start here. So we keep changing this. Oh, the 9 again. Comes at 9 again. This comes at 10, okay? And we say, hey, 10 minus 2, that's 8. 9 minus 6, that's 3. 9 minus 4, that's 5. Okay?
That's fine.
And then 1. So we have 1.538 as our answer. Okay? And it is positive because 2 is bigger than 0.462. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay, thank you guys for doing that. Okay, I want you guys to do number 3. A plus 1 is equal to 2 over 7, okay? Let's work on that one, number 3. A plus 1 is equal to 2 over 7, okay? Yes. Great.
What are we doing now?
We're doing number 3 now. For us.
Okay, by yourself.
Yes. What would be your first step?
Wait, number 3?
Yeah.
My first step would be to do the fractionary.
Okay, if you want to, you can. There's 2 different ways we talked about doing it, remember? Okay, so whichever way is more comfortable for you. Which way is more comfortable for you?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Oh.
Good. So, we can think of it as you can do the fraction, you can get rid of the fraction if you wanted. Okay, or we can think of it as what's this a and the 1 here?
Making this, right? So I could do 1.
Sorry, what was that?
So I could like help you 15 more right there. I can do 1 right here.
So that'd be a little bit. So this was when we did 15. We did that, so that we would.
So you could
Yes,
like
you
add
so
this.
we get rid of these fractions. Okay. So to get rid of the fractions, what's the these common denominator? What would we need to multiply this by to get rid of the fraction? Maybe if you're so you would multiply by 15. You got rid of this fraction.
I got my first one.
Because 5 is 15,
Got
right?
my first soccer. So that you just multiply that. So that just like makes like a big number.
We wouldn't make it a mixed number. Okay, let's go back to doing it. How three is.
The answer to
Okay. So if a plus 1, how do you undo that addition?
Minus this.
Let's go ahead and subtract 1. So now, what's 1 minus 1?
Yeah, it's not really.
What do you have on this side?
Like you go put all A. So it would be
A equals,
A equals 0.
well, 2 over 7 minus 1. Okay, you said earlier, I'm just going to write A equals. And then 2 over 7 and minus 1. Yeah, can we subtract these right away? Don't forget minus. Now what do we need in order to subtract fractions? Yeah, from the denominator. So what might the denominator be?
7.
Yeah. So how could we make the bottom 7 option? Because they're over 1 right now. Think of it, anything over 1. Okay, so put 1 over 1. How could you turn that 1 into a 7? Multiply by
Recursions are supposed to be sweet. For these makes more 7.
7. Okay, so we multiply the bottom by 7, what do we multiply the top by? It's 2 over 7 minus 7 over 7.
we wanna go subtracting, right?
So it's 2 plus, subtraction is the symbol we have right here, right? That's what we're gonna do. So it's 2 minus 7.
Negative.
Yeah, but look, there's also y, and it's also hella negative 5. But do you guys have shirts that look like this too? Or isn't this not ugly? Like it doesn't really go with each other.
I mean, yellow and blue go together.
Yeah, it looks sick.
No, it doesn't. Especially because the P's right in the middle of the shirt too.
I don't know. Looks like I don't know what that.
I don't like them.
I don't really like them either, because we're more like white, blue to me.
Let's
Is this
talk
the
about
right answer?
Yes.
I'm not really sure if I did it right because I multiplied and then I multiplied it one by one and I got the same thing.
Let's talk about this one up here, okay?
Ooh.
So bless you and bless the rains are not bless you forget, okay? Hey, so earlier, I had brought up the idea of doing it with multiplying and clearing the fraction. I'm actually gonna name that now, okay? I think we're just gonna go back to just subtracting that 4 over 5 like we did earlier, like we did in the red down here. The second example, I think that's just gonna be a little bit more straightforward for us, and I think we have an easier time with that one. Okay, so if we have a plus 1 is equal to 2 over 7, we have addition, bless you and bless the rains, I don't have to forget, okay? We have addition, how do we undo addition?
You do subtraction.
You do subtraction, so what are we gonna subtract by?
1.
1, right? Because that's what's 1 minus 1? 0, that's how we get rid of it, okay? Now if I subtract the left side by 1, what do I do to the right side?
Spare one.
Subtract by 1, right? Same exact thing, okay? Now we have a is equal to 2 over 7, bless you and bless the rains, I don't have to lest we forget, okay? So a is equal to 2 over 7 minus 1. Can we subtract 2 over 7 and 1 right away?
No.
No, what do we need to do first?
And the 1 into a fraction.
Turn the 1 into a fraction, so 1 over
1.
1. We put anything over 1. Now we say, now what do we need to do before we subtract though?
Go across.
We need common denominator, so we need to multiply the bottom. So we say, hey, what times 1 could get it to 7?
7.
7. So we multiply the bottom by 7. Now if we multiply the bottom by 7, we have to multiply the top by 7.
Junior's last name begins L through P. Please report to the auditorium at this time.
So now we have a is equal to 2 minus 7, or a is equal to 2 over 7, excuse me. And what's 1 times 7? It's 1 times 7. 7. Oh, it didn't change, okay? So now, what can we do now to subtract?
Can't you do the cross symbol?
That's a great question. We did that cross simplify thing we did up here. When can we do cross simplify? What operation were we doing?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. Can we do that with subtraction? No. Okay, but we do subtract straight across in the numerator. So what's 2 minus 7? What kind of 5? Negative 5 though, because the 7's bigger, that one's a negative 1, okay? And then what's our denominator? Do we do 7 minus 7 in our denominator?
No, you just leave the 7.
No, you just leave the 7. That's why we had to get the same denominator. Okay? Now our answer is negative 5 over 7.
That's difficult. That's good.
More sense.
Okay, questions on that? No. Okay, good talk stuff, okay? Hey, number 4, write the equation for the problem, then solve the equation. 14 more than the number is equal to 27. Find the number, okay? 14 more than the number is equal to 27. Find the number, okay? So the first part, 14 more than the number. What does that mean?
14.
Like a plus.
Okay?
Equals. What is it?
Okay? So, so what would the first part be? You said a plus the number. A plus what number? For 14, it says 14.
Oh yeah, 14, a plus 14.
14 plus a number. Do we know what the number is?
No.
No, put a variable.
Let's put A.
A? Cool, we can put A. Does it really matter what variable we put there?
No.
Heck no, okay? Is equal to 27. Okay? Questions on how we got that equation?
Okay.
14 more than means add a number, so it's a variable called A, equal 27, okay? Now I want you guys to solve this equation. So we write the equation, now I want you guys to solve it. Gucci gang. Split.
on your dog.
Really? What's his name?
Harley.
Charlie?
Yeah.
How old?
8 weeks.
8 weeks?
Yeah.
What kind of doggo?
An Australian cattle dog.
Oh, nice. Dope. Money. Okay, very good. Subtract by 14.
Is it 13?
And
Or 9?
A would be in fact 13. Okay. Good work. Okay. Remember 2 minus 1 is 1. 7 minus 4 is 3. We don't have to borrow. Okay. Good stuff. Okay. Let's go down to number 5 at the bottom of this page. I'll go to a new slide for it. Okay. The Washington Monument. Okay, don't let the fact that this is a big paragraph throw you off. Okay. Ready to go with the way. The Washington Monument in Washington D.C. was built in 2 phases. Okay, 2 phases. It wasn't all just built at once. It was built part of the way, then finished. Okay. During the first phase, the monument was built up to a height of 152 feet. During the second phase, additional construction resulted in the monument's final height of 555 feet. How much of the monument was added during the second construction phase? Write an equation to solve the problem. Okay, hey, during word problems, I think a good thing to do is to underline key information. What's a piece of information that might be key to us here?
152 feet.
152 feet, okay, that's probably something good to know. Okay, what's another key piece of
555
information?
feet.
Okay, 555 feet. Yes, Gracie.
Additional.
Yo, I know
Okay,
the answer.
additional, that's probably good to know, okay? And then what are we trying to find? Yes.
Like added, I guess, and how much
How much
and added.
was added, okay?
Yeah.
So that's key information, okay? So anytime you see numbers, that's probably key information. Anytime you see those math words, okay? Brady asked you to put that away, okay, this is your warning, okay? It's your last warning. Okay, anytime we see those math words like additional or how much or added, those are going to be keywords for us as well, okay? So, does anyone have an idea of what kind of equation we could write here? Okay, Brady, go ahead.
152 plus A equals 500.
Boom, 152 plus A is equal to 555. That's exactly right, okay? If 152 was there during the first phase, so we start with 152, we're saying we had an additional amount, so adding an unknown amount, because we're saying how much was added during the second phase, unknown amount there is equal to the total height of 555. Okay, yes, Gracie. Good dope. Okay. I want everyone to go ahead and actually solve it real quick, though. Okay?
I guess it's good.
Yep.
Do you have any cough drops in here?
I do have one.
So all juniors, his last names begin R through T. Please report to the auditorium at this time for retreat.
Oh, dude, what do you do for the last one? So, like, you do all your subtraction stuff.
You do something for that.
No, I know, but 5 minus 1? Oh, yeah, you can do that. My bad.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Go. It's very good.
What did you get?
What'd you get?
I got 403.
402.
I think that's good. Okay, so we subtract 152. We know that. We said, hey, addition, subtract is the opposite. Okay, do it from both sides. A is equal to, okay, so if we subtract 5 minus 2 is 3, 5 minus 5 is 0, and 5 minus 1 is 4. 403. What would be our label here? Word problem, be careful, we need some sort of label problem. It'd be 403 ostriches? No, 403 feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we added 403 feet.
Why would there be 403 ostriches?
I don't know. If there's no label, I don't know what there is. I'm gonna start guessing.
We're probably
Okay.
whack, bro.
It's like I just started swinging, okay? I'm just gonna start guessing.
403 cats, 403 dogs, 403 superheroes.
Watermelon.
403 watermelons, who knows? Maybe somebody's buying them on sale, high fee. I don't know. It is a lot of watermelon.
403 grapes.
Yeah.
Smart right.
Can you maybe go find some grapes at the lemonade stand? Okay.
Lemon
So,
sauce.
So lemonade.
Yeah.
So
questions on this one?
No.
Who's your game? Let's
I have
flip
a
this page.
different question.
Okay, what's your question?
So tomorrow is Fun Sock Friday.
Yeah.
Should I still wear my socks even though I'm under class?
You can still stop by.
Or how is it?
I'll stop by too, so I'll be the judge.
I'll be the judge. You can be biased.
What?
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe someone else.
No, I'll be actual judge.
Actual judge?
Yeah.
I'm the librarian's judge.
I don't like them. They're weird.
Librarian.
Oh, librarians are chill.
They don't like me either.
Maybe because you're loud in the library.
You know who I think we should ask?
Librarians
Mr. Halverson and Miss Caniglio.
Have them judge our fun socks.
Yeah, because I think that'd be pretty fair.
That'd be pretty fair.
Where's Mrs. Miss Harvey? Weird guy. Alright.
Sorry. Okay. Hey, let's flip the page here, okay? So solving equations by using multiplication and division. So we did a lot of addition, subtraction. Now we're gonna switch gears, do some multiplication and division, okay? Seem a little hyped about that, Caden. Okay. Hey, so first one, s divided by 12 is equal to 3. What's happening with s right now? It's being divided. How do we undo division? Multiplication. What are we gonna multiply by here?
3.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna multiply with you. Why 12?
Because it's closer to the S.
It's closer to the s. We multiply by whatever is being divided by. If it was being divided by 400, use.
Look, I'm like this.
Okay. If we're dividing by 400, what would you multiply by? If I divided by 400, what would I multiply by? 400. If I was dividing it by negative 12, what would I multiply by? Negative 12. You multiply by whatever is being divided by. Okay? Now, if I multiply this, I'm multiplying this side by 12. What am I doing to the right side?
12.
Multiplying by 12, right?
Mhm.
Can I do it just to one side? No, we have to keep it balanced, right? So let's go ahead and write that in. I'm multiplying it by 12. Okay?
This one's gonna be easier.
I hope so. Okay. Now, if I have 12, remember what might make this easier for us to think about with this 12 times s over 12 is the fact that, hey, this is a 12 over what? 12 over what number, really? 1. We can put anything over 1, okay? And now, since we're multiplying, Anthony, what can we do with this 12 and this 12? We can cross simplify it. Very good. How many times is 12 going to 12? 1. How many times is 12 going to 12? 1, okay? So what's 1 times s? S. What's 1 times 1? 1. Do we need to write that s is over 1 though?
No.
No, we could, we don't have to, okay? And what's 3 times 12? Okay, if we don't know off the top of our head, we can write it off the side, there's no problem in that. 12 times 3, what's 3 times 2?
45.
What's 3 times 2? What's 3 times 2?
6.
6. What's 3 times 1?
3.
36.
The next one's 45. Sorry.
Now notice that we got s by itself in one step, okay? So we ended up multiplying by 12, called the multiplicative inverse, and we got it by itself right away. Yes.
Say that one more time.
Multiplicative inverse. Multiplicative like multiplication, and inverse means you're undoing it.
Cool. I think that.
So it undoes that. It's back to s. Okay, I want you guys to do number 2 by yourself. Alright.
Okay. That's what
2
teachers
is
not
not
give us
easy.
the harder ones.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, like we do easy ones together, then we get to one and it's hard.
It feels
Making
easy.
it work.
Yeah, I don't like the decimals.
It's good practice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I already forgot what to do.
Good thing you have an example.
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh.
So,
Oh,
we
no.
have not doing subtraction, but here we have an operation.
Oh, no.
Oh, so basically, it started out as division, so we would end up multiplying by 12. Because we multiplied under division. So here, so he's being divided, right? Yeah, so we multiply by. I agree. So we multiply here by 12, because it's being divided by 12. Multiply by 2. So
What's that one? You
Yep.
did 12 times 3.
Here's my question.
Uh,
Mine is like, my Clear the shred so far.
So if you
Oh my gosh.
notice we multiply by 12. See, that was a number S was being divided by.
Oh, yeah.
So what are we gonna multiply by?
2.
Boom. Okay. So far so good.
Ooh. I don't like how the 2 is so close to.
The other numbers, yeah.
It's 36. I'm so
Up.
screwed up already.
What do you do with this 2?
So I need to multiply that.
So we can think of this as a 2 for what number?
1.
Okay, so go to 1.
That would have been
So
what?
what can we do with this 2 and this 2?
You can multiply that.
What do we do with this 12 and this 12? Right? Divide them. We can cross simplify.
Oh, okay, so then yeah, 1.
Right? It turns into 1, so what's 1 times W?
W.
W, so we end up with W on the right side.
Is it
Alright,
answer
so then
1
that-
though?
What do you mean by the right side? Just like,
On the right side of the equal sign.
just integrate equal W.
It's not.
What was that? Okay, so we end up with W, now we can do 1.8 times 2.
1 times 2 is.
That's gonna be your problem. Okay. So hey, so we start off here, and one thing I noticed that a lot of us did was, hey, we started off by saying, oh, let's multiply by 1.8 on both sides. But here's the thing. If we multiply by 1.8, that won't get W by itself. Keep in mind our goal is always to get W by itself, okay? And so we need to undo this division. So how do we undo dividing by 2? We multiply by what number?
2.
2. Instead of multiplying by 1.8 on both sides, we're going to multiply by 2 on both sides, okay? Now we said it's easiest for us to think about it with that fraction as a 2 over 1 to turn this into a fraction as well. Now, we could multiply just 2 times W and get 2W, and 2 times 1 and get 2, but what can we do before that? We can cross and reduce, cross simplify, cross reduce. Either way, it's the same thing. Can we simplify this 2 and this 2? Yeah, we can. What goes into both of those? 2. How many times? 1. So what's W times 1?
W.
W. So we end up with just W on the right side because it'd be over 1. Do we need to write that as over 1?
No.
Heck, no you don't.
I know the answer.
Okay. What would it be?
So you would do 1.8 times 2.
Yeah, so we write 1.8 times 2.
And then, I got 36.
Okay. I'm going to almost agree with you. Here's what I'm going to say though, okay? We do 1.8 times 2. Now, when we do multiplication, you don't have to write the, you don't, you do not, 3.6. Yeah.
What did I
Oh.
write?
So when you do 1.8 times 2, when you multiply the decimals, you don't have to write.
the decimals, so that's why I got
Yep.
I don't focus on the
Okay. So when you multiply, you don't have to worry about lining up the decimals, okay? Notice how my 0.8 is lined up with 2. That's okay. But you have to keep in mind of how many numbers you have behind the decimal. Because however many numbers you have behind the decimal to start, total has to be how many numbers you have behind the decimal, total at the end, okay? So 2 times 8 is what?
16.
16. So I'm going to write a 6 there and a 1 above here. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. Now I had a decimal with one number behind. Remember a decimal with a total of one number behind. We have 3.6.
I totally forgot that we had to add the 1. So
I
for
did.
I forgot about the decimal.
So we added the 1 because we added the 1 because it what went over 10.
It went over 10. Yep.
Pay attention, please, with our juniors, whose letters, last names begin U through Z, and any other junior who has not had their picture taken, please report to the auditorium at this time.
I make stupid mistakes. Like I don't even pay attention while I'm writing stuff down, and then I write 12. I did 12 at 1 point.
Sweet.
And then I at first I did like 2, like 1 point.
I got 1.
So it's okay that we're making simple mistakes right now. Okay, it's okay that we're making simple mistakes right now. But these are things that we need to continue to catch and look to improve on, right? And improve on those simple mistakes. The last thing we want to do is we want to make mistakes that are just simple and we're like, oh, if I would have caught that, I know how to do that, okay? Kind of thing. Like, oh, I've done that right before, that kind of stuff. Okay. So I want Hey, do you guys know how to read a clock like that?
Yeah.
You were just asking what time it was.
No, that wasn't me.
Guess that was, don't lie.
Yeah, Super Bowl like a minute ago.
I said, what time we got out of here? And you said 11. He goes, what time is it?
Then I looked up and I saw it.
Okay. I didn't know if you. Cause a lot of my students don't know. I don't mean that to be judgmental.
Like right now, that's 10:43.
Yes.
I just look at the dashes. 10:42. I clocked off 5 minutes.
Can we just multiply across?
On the second side.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I think I might have the answer.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. How do you do it so quick?
This math.
She was working.
I
wrote
she
it
was
down.
working on where you're talking about clocks.
Possibly right.
Oh my god.
It
I
is.
can't even start.
It's not hard, but it's just weird. I don't know.
I'm not really digging fractions. Fractions are not mine.
Okay, so I don't know how to do this now. Can I go straight across or do she?
So does anything go into 5 and 3
No,
though?
but
No. We look for it.
yes.
So now if nothing goes in, what do we do?
Just go straight across.
Yep. So it's 2 times 3.
6,
So it's 5 times 1.
5.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. Okay.
But you know, kind of. Is it positive or negative? Negative. And now on the left side. Yep.
So you have a 3, so just use that one because that's what I did. And then how do you make that into a fraction? Put a 1
I
in
did.
there. Put a 1 in there, bro.
So
Make it a fraction.
The 3 right there. This one.
Put a, just, I know it's like the number 3, but just put a 1 in there. It's right there.
Remember, that's not on the equal sign. And on the left side,
How
the
do you
equal sign.
spell that?
You can't move it around unless there's something to move it.
What? The big.
Like, you cross
So
it,
it's on the
yeah,
right
and
side.
make those into 1s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just put 1 over 1.
Yeah, pretty much in that.
So this ends up equaling 1, and so we have 1 times n. So it goes. Okay.
Yeah, and you,
Does that make more sense, Anthony?
I don't know where it's from.
no, just.
Here,
So,
so,
I know it's like times 3.
okay, sweet, that's good. That's the first step. Okay, so we multiply by 3 and multiply by 3, right?
Okay.
Okay.
And then.
So what happens when you multiply by 3 on this left side? We do kind of the same thing we did with these first two. Yeah.
So,
What?
How many tips?
what is it?
I'll cook right quick.
3 times 2.
Right. Where are you at?
We're gonna have some negatives too.
So you're gonna do this, then you're gonna get that.
Great teacher.
Alright, great team. You made it easy. 1 is
Here.
I'll never click.
Oh wait, can I have one? Actually, you can call me doctor.
So you did. Yeah. So I agree with you. 3 times 2 is 6. That's 5 times
I'm
1.
not taking Spanish actually.
Where does 3 come from?
What'd you actually call me? Like I just read.
Is that a negative
You
symbol?
don't have to say
Was it negative to start with?
She called me a big cow.
Pay attention, please, with all seniors and last names begin
Negative 6 when it's
A through K.
See, we gotta go with this here.
Seniors A through K.
Now you said you
Oh, I
do
said
this,
you
this,
this,
and that.
this, do you get this?
Yeah, how do we multiply?
I did it.
Multiply straight across. Where? I just. Straight across, yep. So what's
That you think I'll become a
That's 5 times 1.
Mr. Hobby teacher now.
There you go.
Alright,
Let's talk about this one up here, guys. Talk about this one up here. Okay. So we said, hey, if n is being divided by 3, let's multiply by 3, okay? If we multiply by 3 on this side, we know we have to do the same on the right side, okay? And I said, hey, if we think of it as 3 over 1, that helps us out significantly. And we said, hey, we can cross-reduce this. 3 goes into 3 1 time. So 1 times n is n. 1 times 1 is 1. But do we need to write that as over 1? No. And we saw the equal sign. Do not move the n on the other sides of the equal sign unless we're doing something to do that, okay? Otherwise the n equals n staying on the left side of the equal sign right now. Okay? On the right side, this 3, if we're multiplying a fraction, it's easiest for us to make this 3 a fraction, putting it over 1. Very good. Okay? Now, can we cross simplify 3 and 5? No, but we look to, because it would make our life easier if we could, okay? But nothing goes into both 5 and 3, okay? So now we multiply straight across. So what's 2 times 3? 6.
6.
What's 5 times 1? 5, okay? Now, hey, can't forget that negative, because a negative times a positive is 100% of the time a negative, okay? When you're adding and subtracting, you look at which number's bigger, that kind of stuff, okay? When you're multiplying or dividing, if it's a negative and a positive, it's always going to be negative. They're different signs, it's always going to be negative, okay? Questions about that?
No, sir.
Okay, Gucci gang. Okay. Now, here's a little note here. If there is a fraction in front of the variable, 3/5 k, 2/3 b, negative 1 3/8 k, then multiply by the reciprocal to isolate the variable. What's the reciprocal?
The negative one.
Of the negative 1.
Well, it would be like that number that's like outside, like the whole number.
Okay, we would multiply by it like the number that's going to be outside of that, like that. Yeah. And what's the reciprocal of a fraction? What do we do with the fraction to get the reciprocal?
Multiply.
We
Flip it.
flip it. So the reciprocal of 3 over 5 is 5 over 3. So what it's saying is, if there's a fraction in front of this, in front of the variable, okay? 3/5 is the fraction in front of the variable. What we're gonna do? Yes. We'll see here in a second. Okay, we'll see here in a second. Let me show this. Okay. Okay. We're gonna multiply it by 5 over 3. And if we do that to one side, we have to do it by the other.
Yeah.
Same. This will help us isolate the variable. Okay, I want everyone to write what I've written so far. I want everyone to write what I've written so far.
Let me write this down real quick instead of getting in trouble.
Truth.
Level 3. Yeah, did the wrong one.
I'm just gonna write over the like number 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go.
Alright. So now that we have this set up, instead we're gonna multiply by the reciprocal. Let's see what happens when we chose to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Can we cross simplify this 5 and this 5? Yeah, what do they both become? 1, because how many times does 5 go to each of those numbers? Once. Can we cross simplify this 3 and this 3? Yeah, what do they both become?
Bro, it's literally just one.
It's literally just 1. Does that make our life a lot easier?
Yeah.
How nice is that? What's 1 times 1? 1. What's 1 times 1? We have like 1 over 1 times k. Do we even need to write that 1 over 1? Heck no, you can just write k.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Equals k.
1K.
Yeah, hit him on k. Hit him on red.
Sweet.
One
I'll
K.
put 1K.
Super long paragraph. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, so what would be easier if we're multiplying by a fraction here? We could go to 6 over
1.
1.
Cross
Okay.
reduce.
What can we cross reduce?
6 and 3.
The 6 and 3, okay? How many times does 3 go into 3?
Once and
One.
6.
Twice. So this becomes a 2 there, okay? Now what's 2 times
10.
5 is 10. Very good. Okay? And what's 1 times 1?
It's
1. Do we have to put it over 1?
No.
No. So
K
the answer is k equals 10, okay? That's why we chose the reciprocal, okay? Let's look at it one other way, okay? You guys don't have to write this down. Okay, you guys do not have to write this part down, okay? If we look at it another way of why we chose the reciprocal, okay? So everyone, I just want your attention up here. You don't have to write this down, okay? So if we did 3/5 k is equal to 6. Let's say we started off with getting rid of this dividing by 5. We know we can undo the division by multiplication, right? So we'll multiply both sides by 5. If that's like a 5 over 1, that would cross simplify, right? So we'd be left with 1 times 3 is 3, k is equal to 6 times 5 is 30. How would we get k by itself here?
3 over 1.
Or divide by 3, and 3 divided by itself is 1. So we're left with k is equal to, what's 30 divided by 3? 10. Do we get the same answer?
Yes.
Which one is faster though?
That one, but like.
The first one, by a lot, half the steps. Because this was 1 step, this was 2. Okay? So that's why we choose to do the reciprocal, because that ends up being the same thing. We just
Work
smarter, not harder. Exactly right, Brady. Work smarter, not harder. Okay. Okay, guys. Let's look at number 2. Game plan here. What are we gonna multiply both sides by?
Plus, what?
So,
-2/3.
okay, we're gonna multiply both sides by something with this 2 and 3. What are we gonna do with that though? What did we do with this first one? Multiply it by 3/5, but we did what?
3/2. I mean like
We'll
5
do
over
3/2 here. Okay, why would we not multiply by 4/1?
because you have to like get it the b alone.
Yeah, because we do whatever's with the b. Okay, so we're gonna multiply both sides by the reciprocal. In this case, that's 3/2. We just flip that fraction that's in front of the variable. Okay, I want you guys to go ahead and finish up number 2. Since we went over how to start it together.
It's just 1. B.
So we're just doing cross reducing with the B there.
Yep, did it cross reduce? Anthony, good question. Let's look at this first one. Did it cross reduce even with the k here?
Which one?
Did it cross reduce with the k there as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would cross reduce. with the
Okay.
K.
Would it just be B equals 1?
No, no.
B equals. I think I got
You get b on the right side.
Oh, you know, change. What kind of 1/4 is this?
Only thing I'll change otherwise is cash money.
Dude, I'm low.
So I got a question. So on the testing quiz, if you don't put a negative, how many much take off?
20,000.
You're smart.
Oh, we're not paying.
So like a half.
It's good.
You're smart.
Okay, you want help now? Did you have a question? Oh, I thought you did, sorry.
Can you like simplify?
Don't change. Okay.
Are we done with that?
So, on your bottom half. So it's a negative.
It's just all words.
Water is done with it.
So,
Oh,
Yeah, it's done with it.
I'm crossing
Are
out.
we done?
I'm gonna drink a short class.
Not
quite.
Aye.
I'm a safe guy.
That's my third one just today.
but it's,
Brady,
It's just a water.
watch you now, boy. I need a bar of soap. YouTube's gonna ban my videos.
oh yeah, nobody's recording them.
YouTube's gonna ban my videos because they don't see
No,
the
Brady.
content.
Yeah, you can edit it. You can edit it and beep it. You can just beep.
Anytime Brady talks. Okay, let's talk about this one over here now, okay? So the multiply by 3/2, okay? We say, hey, we can cross multiply this 3 and this 3, those become 1. Cross multiply the 2 and the 2, those become 1. So what are we left with on the right side? Just
Just be.
B.
Yeah.
Okay? The reason, and that's the reason we did that, is because we get the variable by itself, okay? It's not magic that happens, that's how the math works, okay? Then we go over here to the left side. 3/2 times -1/4. Don't let this 2 confuse you, okay? Now, is there anything we can cross simplify?
Absolutely not.
No, that's unfortunate. So we multiply straight across. What is 3 times 1?
3.
What's 2 times 4? 8. I heard the question earlier, positive or negative? Well, we have a positive times a negative. Signs are different, so it's going to be a negative 10 times out of 10.
Would you like us to solve this other one?
Okay? We're going to solve this other one, but first I'm going to talk about, hey, what's going to help us with it? Is this completely a fraction right now, or can we make this more of a fraction?
You can make that more.
We can make it an improper fraction, right? How would we turn this -1 into more 8s?
Do the adding and the multiplication.
So you could do 8 plus -1 and then
Which is
times
7.
2, times 3. Or minus 3.
So not, okay, so when we take -1 and 3/8, we need to say, okay, we can think this as a -1 plus 3/8. Okay? We can think that off to the side. Let me write it off to the side here.
That's got compound different.
Yeah.
Okay, how did you get off that?
Like, you take the 8 plus the -1 and then times 3.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Like you would put the plus sign like right between
I think we got taught like
and then
spend.
Okay.
possibly.
I think this is gonna be similar, but I think what at least what you're saying is not accurate. You might have been taught accurately, but at least what you're saying right
Yeah,
now.
I'll do it for you real quick.
Okay. So let's look at
Incorrect.
this. Let's look at this. Okay. If we take -1 plus 3, so we still put the plus sign between them, we're gonna put them beside between the whole fraction. Okay. If we're gonna add or subtract fractions, what do we need with the denominators?
Mine?
They have to be the same, right? Okay, so this one's probably going to turn into 1 over 1. So we can make that
1. Negative 1.
3. Okay, so what could be our common denominator? If this is 8 and this is 1, what can we can make both into 8. How do we make 1 into 8? Times by 8. If we times the bottom by 8, what do we do to the top?
Times by 8.
Times by 8, okay?
So 8 over 8.
So this becomes 8 over 8, okay? 8 over 8 plus 3 over 8, okay? What's 8 plus 3? What's 8 plus 3? 11 over 8. So this ends up being negative, don't forget that negative sign, 11 over 8k is equal to 2 over 3.
Did anyone have true?
Okay, now, before we back up, guys, okay? Now, could we multiply by the reciprocal? Okay, that's what I want you to do for your homework. Literally just finish this problem for your homework. That's it.
Which one?
This number 3. Just finish this problem for your homework.
Okay,
That's all I'm asking.
Wait, what is it?
So,
advisory and lunch, so please listen carefully when we make the next announcement. Abby Henny and Hannah Field, they come to the office after the ballot.
what's your mom's name again?
I'm not telling you my mom's name.
What's your dad's name?
I'm not telling you my dad's name.
Why do you think my mom is?
Because you're shady, bro.
I'm not shady.
Because you said you be texting my mom.
I'm gonna be like, yo, what's up? That was, what's going on?
Just, you're gonna get a moment.
Okay, have a great day, everybody.